Hey guys, welcome to another online math class. This video will be about time payment agreements, and by the end of this lesson our goal is to know what our hire purchase is, be able to find the flat rate of an interest, and be able to calculate the effective interest rate. Let's just pause the video here and take a couple of minutes to run these down. Alright, so we've been learning about money and finance so far. Let's talk about shopping today. So when you go shopping, there are generally two options for a payment. Our first option, probably the one you guys more commonly use, is paying with your own money. And this is either in the form of cash or with a debit card, which takes money directly from your bank account. But another way to purchase services and goods is through someone else's money, but you pay that amount back later. This is in the form of credit, and these are called time payment agreements. So the thought of getting something now and paying for it later is often very appealing to different people. But when using different forms of credit, there often includes interest and possibly other fees and charges. So it's really important to be able to calculate what the total cost is before purchasing on a credit. And there are also two main types of time payment agreements. The first being hire purchase, the one we're going to focus on this lesson, and personal loans, one we're going to focus in the future. So a hire purchase is when the buyer takes the item they have purchased and pays it off by making regular payments of an agreed amount. In a hire purchase, a deposit can be paid at the beginning, which reduces the amount of payments. And also, interest is not always stated in a hire purchase, so it is important to be able to calculate it. Alright, so now we know what a hire purchase is. That's our first goal. We need to know how to calculate the interest of a hire purchase now. And once again, this can be done in two ways. Our first being the flat rate amount, and our next being the effective rate of interest. So our first way here was our second goal for today, and that was our third goal. So let's start off by finding out how to calculate the flat rate amount. And the flat rate of interest, it's written like this, R with a small f there, is calculated as a percentage of the original amount owed. And the concept behind this is very similar to simple interest, and it is found using this formula. So make sure you have written that formula down. So on the left there, that's the flat rate of interest, that's what we're looking for, equals 100 times I, which is the total interest paid, divided by principal in P times T, time in years. Alright, let's have a go at using this formula now. So using this example problem here, it says Josh buys a sound system costing $1,400. He pays a deposit of $500. The remaining $900 he owes must be repaid by making 6 monthly payments of $160. So to work this out, we're going to need that formula on the top right. I'll just keep it there so it's easy to refer to. So to find the flat rate of interest, the first thing we need to find out is how much interest he's actually paying. So the interest will be the total paid, I'll just write that there, total paid minus the purchase price. And to find out the total paid, we use the information up here. He pays a deposit of $500, and the remaining $900 he owes must be repaid by making 6 payments of $160 there. So that will be 500, so total paid, I'll write that, equals 500 plus 6 times 160, because he made 6 payments of $160. And once you work that out, he would have paid a value of $1,460. So the interest paid, I'll just write that as I, will be $1,460 minus the purchase price, which is $1,400 there. So he paid an interest of $60. Now that we've got that, we can find the flat rate of interest, which is using that formula on the top right there. So to work out the flat rate of interest, we're just going to substitute what we know. So RF is going to equal 100 times I, which is 60, we found that out before. P is the amount he borrowed. He borrowed $900 there, so it'll be 900 times time in years. It took him 6 months to pay, so that's half a year. So I'll write that as 0.5. And once you put all that into your cash calculators, it will give you a value of 13.3%. So that is your flat interest rate there. So now we've hit our second goal for today. Let's move on to our third one, which is the effective interest rate. And like I said before, flat rate of interest, that is similar to simple interest. Effective rate is going to be similar to compound interest. So just a quick recap on compound interest. In this scenario, let's say I invested $250 at an interest rate of 10% per annum. So with compound interest here, that 10% is calculated every year. So in that first year, it's going to be calculated on the $250 there, so I'm making $25. In the next year, that $25 is added onto my amount, so my new 10% is calculated on that amount. And then the 10% I made from that new amount is added on again, and then the cycle just keeps continuing. So this is a bit like effective interest rate. So back to the scenario with Josh's sound system there. At the start of his loan, so in month 1, he owes $900. In the second month, he owes $750, and in the third month, he owes $600, and so on. So like compound interest, effective interest rate is calculated on the new amount for each time period there. So month 1, $900, month 2, $750, and month 3, $600, and so on. So the main difference between the two is that the flat rate of interest only takes into account the interest paid and the original amount owed, whereas the effective interest takes into account how much is owed in each individual time period. So that could be every year, that could be every month, like the example we just did. Right, so now we know the difference between the two, let's have a go at working out on calculating the effective interest rate. So first off, to do this, we need to know the average amount owed during the loan period, and this value is going to be used as the principal. Once we've got that, we can just use this formula again from before, which is from the flat rate of interest. But in this case, we'll be changing the RF here to RE. Don't worry about writing anything down just yet, we'll just make sense of this first. Alright, so going back to the scenario from before, and here are the formulas that we'll be needing. Let's work out the average principal owed. So the average principal owed will be total amount of principal owed, which is $30,150, divided by the total number of months, which is 6. And that gives me a value of $525 there. Once we've got that, we can work out the effective interest rate, or RE, which equals 100 times I over 525 times 0.5, because 0.5 was years. We're in 6 months. 6 months is halfway a year, and interest we worked that out before, which was 60. If you forgot, we worked that 60 out from the scenario just there up here. So the interest he paid was $60. So that's how we got to there. Once you put that into your calculator, you'll get a value of 22.9%. Notice how that's much higher than the percentage we got over here. So that's how you could get the answer if you got a table of values like that there. But in reality, you won't be given tables like this all the time. So we've got two formulas to help you work that out better. So make sure you've got these two formulas down in your books, because they'll be used very often. So the first one is 100 times I over the principal times time times 2n, n is new here, which is the number of payments, divided by n plus 1. And a second formula is once again the effective annual interest rate equals RF, so you need the formula from before as well, times 2n over n plus 1. And in reality, this second formula will be used more often because we often calculate the RF value first. So once again, make sure you've got these two formulas down into your books. And another handy thing to know is how to estimate the effective interest rate. So the effective interest rate is approximately double the RF, or the flat interest rate. So in further maths, this can be very helpful when checking your answers quickly, because when you work out your effective interest rate and it's way off double your flat interest rate, you will know that there's something wrong with your answer. Alright, let's have a go at working out the effective interest rate now. So using this problem here, repayments on Tom's hire purchase agreement are based on a flat interest rate of 15% per annum, and he's to make 60 repayments. So we've got our RF value there, which we do need for that formula. So first part of the question, calculating the effective interest rate, is just going to be RE equals RF, which is 15 there, times 2n, n is 60, that's the number of repayments, over 60 plus 1. Once you've got all that, just put it into your calculator like so. I'll just do it with you guys here. 15 times, make sure you've got the fraction there, 2 times 60 over 60 plus 1. Press enter and it will give you 29.5. So effective interest rate is just going to be 29.5%. So let's write that there. And that's the first part of our question. And next part, just check your answer by using the approximate rule. So once again, RE is approximately double our RF value. RF is 15, 15 times 2 is 30, and 30 is pretty close to 29.5. So we know our effective interest rate is most likely going to be correct. Alright, so that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully by now we have a better understanding of what a hire purchase is, can find the flat rate of interest, and also can calculate the effective interest rate. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys all back online.